Science is nothing but study of facts and truths. Are further grouped into physical science and natural science. Physical science deal with non-living objects, while natural science deal with living objects. The natural science, otherwise called biological science. Biological science further grouped into botany and zoology. Botany deals with plants, while zoology deals with animals. When come to botany, you can see that several branches, namely morphology, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, cytology, genetics, taxonomy, evolution, like that. Where in the case physiology and biochemistry paper, you can see the topic alkaloids. In the paper, plant physiology and biochemistry go hand in hand, look like that husband and wife, where without biochemistry there is no physiology, without physiology there is no biochemistry. Come to this topic, plant alkaloids. Alkaloids is nothing but a secondary plant products. Here you can see that the plant metabolites are grouped into primary metabolites and secondary metabolites, where the primary metabolites are carbohydrates, protein, lipids. It is otherwise called end product. Plant metabolites are grouped into two categories, namely primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Primary metabolites are synthesis and degradation of carbohydrates, protein and lipids. It is otherwise called end product. The secondary metabolites are synthesis and degradation of alkaloids, flavonoids, isoprenoids and phenolic compounds. It is otherwise called byproducts. The secondary plant product, let us discuss about the plant alkaloids. Now, definition of alkaloid. Alkaloids are defined as optically active basic nitrogenous plant product containing nitrogen heterocycle in their structure. Messner 1819 coined the term alkaloid. As their name would suggest, most alkaloids are alkaline in nature. At pH values commonly found in the cytosol pH 7.2 or in the vacuole pH 5 to 6. The nitrogen atom is protonated, hence alkaloids are positively charged and are generally water soluble. Alkaloids are usually synthesized from one of a few common amino acids, in particular lysine, tyrosine and tryptophan. However, the carbon skeleton of some alkaloids contains a component derived from the terpene pathway. Table 1 gives the major alkaloids type and their amino acid precursors. Here you can see the major types of alkaloid and their amino acid precursor and well known examples of each type. First case, alkaloid class. Second, biosynthetic precursor. Third, examples. Fourth, human use. First, alkaloid class. Biosynthetic precursor. Second. Third, examples. Fourth, human uses. See, in the alkaloid class, first one, pyrrolidine. It is derived from ornithine and amino acids. Example, best example, nicotine. Human use, stimulant, depressant, tranquilizer. Next, propane alkaloids. It is derived from ornithine and amino acid. Best example, atropine. Prevention of intestinal spasms and act as an antidote. Third, piperidine. It is derived from lysine and amino acids. Best example, quinine, an alkaloid. It is a highly poison. It is highly poison and paralyze the CNS and PNS of human system. Fourth case, quinolizidine. Quinolizidine, biosynthetic precursor, lysine. Example, lupin, use restoration of heart rhythm. Isoquinoline, tyrosine, biosynthetic precursor. Example, morphine, uses treatment for cough and pain relief. Final case, indole alkaloids. It is derived from tryptophan. Best example, psilocybin hallucinogen uses. Next, in another case, reserpine and alkaloid. It is used for reduce the hypertension. Third case, strychnine and alkaloid. In the case of indole group, it is a highly poison. It is used for aeropoison. Properties of alkaloid. First case, solubility. It is generally dissolved in organic solvent, rarely dissolved in water. It is a heterocyclic, optically active substance. It is a bitter in taste. It reacts with the organic and inorganic acids to form a respective salts. It is a heterocyclic compound. Occurrence and distribution. The alkaloid large family which contain 15,000 nitrogenous compounds, mostly found in the dicots and monocots. More than 20% species which included in this case. The list of distribution see in the table. Family name, botanical name and their specific alkaloids. Dicotyledons group. Family name Apocynaceae. Botanical name Vinca rosea. Typical alkaloid Ajmelsin. Next, Compositae, Senecio jacopia, Senecio. Third, Leguminosae, Cytosis laborum, Cytosin. Fourth, Loganaceae, Strychnas, Nax vomica, Strychnine. Fifth, Menispermaceae, Archuslia flava, typical alkaloid Berberin. Sixth, Papaveraceae, Papaver somniferum, typical alkaloid Morbin. Seventh, Ranunculaceae, Aconitum Naples, typical alkaloid Aconitine. Eighth, Rubiaceae, Cinchona officinalis, typical alkaloid quinine. In this case, Uracova, Ipicova, in which a typical alkaloid extracted emetine. Next, Rutaceae, Sickmia japonica, in which the typical alkaloid extracted Sickmiin. Solanaceae, Solanum tuberosum, Solanin. Atropa bellatona, atropine. Nicotiana topacum, nicotine. Next case, Apiaceae, Conium maculatum, the typical alkaloid conin. Next, Piperaceae, Piper nigerum, typical alkaloid piperin. Next, in the monocotyledons, Amylidaceae members. Narcissus, pseudo narcissus, Calanthamine, typical alkaloids. Liliaceae, colchicine, atomonyl, typical alkaloid colchicine. Now, extraction, isolation, separation, identification of specific alkaloids. First, extraction. Generally, the extraction done by with weak acids like 10% acetic acid. Next, the isolation. Isolation done by the petroleum ether or light petroleum using filtrate the crude alkaloids. Third case, identification. Identification done by through ultraviolet spectroscopy, infrared spectroscopy or mass spectroscopy or X-ray crystallographic technique. Biological function. First, production. Alkaloids act as a poisonous substance which afford plants safety from herbivores and insects. Second, it is act as a reserve for nitrogen. Third, they act as reserve substance to supply N2. Fourth, detoxification. They may be the end product of detoxification mechanism. Fifth, excretory product. Alkaloids are considered as excretory product of plants and excess of ammonia is excreted in this method. Sixth, byproduct. They may be considered as byproduct of plant metabolism and are of no biological importance. Seventh, enzyme inhibition. some alkalides inhibit the enzyme activity. Some individual alkalides and their significance. Number 1, quinine. The empirical formula of quinine C8H17. It is a simple alkaloid which is found in the seeds of hemlock. The botanical name of the plant Conium maculatum. It is a small shrub. Socrates, the great philosopher, who was condemned to death in 399 BC for his crime of teaching the young to think, was forced to drink hemlock extract. Quinine is a colorless oil, apically active, has an unpleasant smell and turn brown on exposure to air. It is soluble in water but more soluble in alcohol. Quinine and its salts are highly poisonous and causes death by paralysis. The structure of the quinine here you can see. Next, piperine. The empirical formula of piperine C17H19O3N. It occurs in pepper, especially the black pepper. The botanical name of black pepper Piper nigrum. It is extended to 7 to 9%. It has the flavor and taste of black pepper. It is sparingly soluble in water. It is much less toxic than other alkaloids. It is used as antimicrobial activity. The structure is as follows. Next, nicotine. The empirical formula of nicotine C10H14N2. It is a chief alkaloid of the tobacco plants. The botanical name of the tobacco plants Nicotiana tabacum, where it is present as a salt of malic or citric acid. In leaves of the tobacco, the concentration of nicotine is highest. It is a colorless, oily liquid, readily soluble in water. It is optically active and its structure is as follows. Next, atropine C17H22O3N. Atropine along with ias-amine occur in deadly nightshade plant. The botanical name of the plant Atroba pelatona and pan apple fruit Datura stamonium. Plants of Solanaceae. It has a sharp bitter taste and it's extremely poison. It is nowadays used for dilating the pupil of eye. Its structure is as follows. Next, quinine C20H24O2N2. The quinine and cinquinine are two most important alkaloids present in the bark of the cinchona tree. The botanical name of the plant Cinchona officinalis, originally found only in the South America. At present it is also grown in other tropical countries like India, Sri Lanka and Java. Quinine is a white solid with a bitter taste. It is almost insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvent. It is antipyretic and is used for lowering body temperature. It kills the microorganism that causes malaria and its salt. Its structure is as follows. Cinquinine. The empirical formula of cinquinine C19H22ON. It is occur along with the quinine. It is a white optically active solid. Its structure is similar to quinine except the methoxy group is present as follow. Final, cocaine C16H19O4N. It is present in the leaves of cocoa plant. The botanical name of the cocoa plant Theobroma cocoa, which is grown in the semi-tropical countries. The cocoa plant should not be confused with the cocoa bean from which the cocoa and chocolates are prepared. Its structure is as follows. The main points of this topic: the alkaloids are secondary plant product. It is commonly derived from an amino acids. It is distributed more than 15,000 nitrogenous compounds in 20% of plant species of dicot and monocots. The main group of alkaloids are pyrrolidine, quinoline, indole, quinolacidine, and important alkaloids are quinine, atropine, cinquine, strychnine and nicotine. The main uses to human welfare, it is used as a antidote, poisonous, and to control the blood pressure and to regulate the temperature. These are the main points.